Welcome back, guys, to another episode of What You Take, the show where we talk about just about anything we can think of and bring you guys along for the unfiltered, unapologetic ride. As always, you're going to have myself here, Steve, my brother Chris.
Share the show.
And Sexy Spence.
If you want to.
No, they don't get a choice.
They don't get a choice. You don't get a choice.
You share the fucking show.
If you see my face right now, share the show.
You should really just cut it.
I really...
So I have it aimed at Spencer.
If you see my face, point at Spence.
Yeah.
Ay. Anyway, I promised you I had some deets.
Thank you.
You have deets?
I have deets.
Deets?
Spill the tea, good sir.
All right, so I've got two things regarding Wolverine for you, picking up from the last time. Do you want number one or number two?
All of it. Let's hear it.
We'll pick one
All
first.
right, fine, one.
Okay, well, you're getting number two.
Damn it!
This is unconfirmed. This is still in rumor mode. But there is a unconfirmed plot theory surrounding Deadpool 3.
Okay.
Right now, rumor is that Deadpool and Wolverine will meet each other up after the events of what happened at Logan. So Logan kind of like recovering from his wounds, whatnot like that. Deadpool ends up meeting up with him using Cable's time travel mechanism.
Injects him with his own healing.
No. And they end up on a, and I quote, time travel road trip being pursued by Mobius. This is Owen Wilson's character from the Loki series. Now, I looked at the confirmed cast for Deadpool 3. We have Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Owen Wilson, Tom Hiddleston. So, we could potentially see Loki. We should be seeing Mobius, and of course, Deadpool Wolverine.
So you know the kind of shit show that's going to be some... Oh my god, the banter.
That's either going to fly or it's going to fucking tank.
There's no way it'll tank.
There's no in between.
There's no way it'll tank.
Even if that movie absolutely sucks, which I don't think is possible.
He got Hugh Jackman to come out of Wolverine retirement. There's no way that it'll flop.
It took him 3 years to do that. 2 movies.
And a
when did Logan come
lifelong
out? Like
feud.
2017?
Something like that.
Since then, he's been trying to get him to do a cameo because they're best friends in real life.
And he not even succeeded in getting a cameo. He got a full fucking movie.
Right.
There's no way this is gonna suck.
Especially, sorry to cut you off. There was actually like a little clip out there. Ryan Reynolds put out himself as Deadpool. It was actually pretty cool. It was him acting like he just dug Wolverine up, and he was sitting there with that serum, and he's like, I could do it, but you would come back, but maybe another time. And then he just kind of reburied him or something like that.
The banter alone between Wolverine and Deadpool, because of their respective regeneration abilities, they just get pissed off, and it'll be a lot like Thor and Hulk.
Right. Right.
Was that necessary? Yeah, actually.
You gonna learn?
Stabs him through the throat.
Right, like I could totally see like
Who
Wolverine.
actually heals faster?
Technically Deadpool.
Little arms.
Yeah.
Little hands.
All the dinosaurs fear the T-Rex.
I think of that guy from Men in Black with the regenerating head.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Insensitive prick. Sorry.
Yeah.
You insensitive prick.
No, I think actually the other thing, too, though, is like, depending on it, I think Deadpool is relatively immortal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
I don't even think that's going off of
he
like
got
when
it.
Thanos cursed him.
Yeah, he got doubled down on because he
Yeah.
had his like immortality from his regeneration, and then he got cursed by Thanos. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Of all unkillable characters, he's kind of the most unkillable.
yeah, it's like this is kind of a redundancy.
Yeah.
I don't really need this on top of everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
That was it. Anyway, I'm just super excited for this. Like, holy shit.
So here's the other one.
I'm going to camp out like a child with like my little Deadpool hat on.
I dare to say this,
Uh-oh.
but I think I'm accurate with it.
Okay.
That you may like this news more.
That's a bold statement.
I dare to be bold today, Spence.
Okay. All right.
There is a limited... Hold on, where's my words? It is going to be a 4-issue limited series. So 4-episode limited series.
Okay.
Surrounding Wolverine. Going back into some of his travels and things like that, and his past life, and leading up to the events of everything.
Okay.
This is being pulled from some of the comics.
Okay. I'm liking this.
This is confirmed from Marvel.com.
Okay, so like a legit
This is
source.
legit.
It's happening.
Okay. Are you ready for this? Benjamin Piercy, He's the director or the writer, one of the two. Pits two of pop culture's deadliest hunters against each other in Predator vs. Wolverine.
That's happening.
It is happening.
Oh my god!
It is happening,
all right, dude. Oh my god! Wolverine's hunting the Predator.
Predator is hunting Wolverine. Wolverine is being held as this most amazing.
Oh my god, dude!
Apparently, they have been hunting each other throughout Logan's lifetime, and we are going to witness this. Everything from the
I've seen that. It's a comic book.
Yep.
They're making it.
Yep.
Oh my god!
Everything from the Canadian wildlands to
I forgot. Like Disney owns like Predator and shit like that too. Like that's Fox, which
Predator
Oh my
vs. Wolverine, motherfucker. Can you imagine this? Chris, knock it off.
I'm cleaning up.
Stop.
you are like a child. Did you even hear what just got said?
Yes, I did. And it
And you're not even remotely excited?
I am excited, but it also seems like it's... I don't understand how
You
it would...
watch your tone.
I don't understand how it would be a compelling fight.
Yeah, what do you mean how it wouldn't be a compelling fight?
I feel like it'd be over in like 8 minutes.
How?
Wolverine could track down the Predator very easily.
So can the Predator.
Yeah, shank. Done.
Here's the thing. So, again, from Marvel.com is, yes, Wolverine has his regenerative abilities, but the playing field gets leveled because of the technology difference. Because when this is taking place is not 2023. This is going through the things like the Shang-Chi Dynasty, whatever it is. I mean, we're talking all the way back to, like, the olden days as well.
Yeah, I know. Predator can't hide from him, though.
If Logan's never experienced Predator, and we don't know who's hunting who.
Well, that's the thing.
Predator is hunting Wolverine.
Correct, but none of Predator's, like, cloaking anything will work.
It doesn't have to. He's got a fucking plasma cannon.
Yeah, I get that. But
he's got those steel nets that, like, squeeze him in hardcore.
Yeah.
And who knows, right?
And what other things
And this is one of the things where I love to say this, but Chris, you could be very wrong in the sense that there could be something about Predator that Wolverine can't pick up on. Because he's a fucking alien.
I find it very hard to believe that anyone could hide from him.
Here's the thing about smell. Well, the thing is with smell, is like, okay, cool, you're in the woods, you're like, oh, something's here.
Well, yeah, it's not just his
you're
smell,
not
though.
Able to, like, smell and, like, look up in the corner.
But here's the other thing,
it's all of his other senses,
you
too.
have to, but the thing about your senses, too, is they have to be dialed in. If he's not looking for or not wanting a fight or to be on guard, he could still be tuned out.
Right, I mean, he could be tuned out until he gets shot at, and then he's looking for him.
Though, right. I will say, Chris, I get where you're coming from, because, okay, we've all seen Prey, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember how all the animals were fucking up the Predator?
Yeah.
Because they saw him, which I get. I do understand where you're coming from, but, like, also, I think the other thing, too, though, is, like, depending on the times, he doesn't have his adamantium skeleton.
Yeah, this is also fair.
True, but he also regenerated faster without the adamantium.
This is fair, but, like, you start cutting off limbs.
Yeah.
And you can't cut through his metal.
Okay.
There's a lot of shit here. And here's the thing. Marvel wouldn't do this if they didn't know that they could make it, like, badass.
Right.
No, I have no doubt that it would be badass. It's just, to me, it seems like it's ripe for, like, a plot hole or three.
Okay, when has there ever been a completely action-packed film? Like, action for the guy's night, right? That is, like, perfect
this
plot.
ain't gonna win an Oscar like Logan or some shit.
Right.
No, this is like, I'm gonna sit down with you guys and have some beers.
This is a kaiju movie.
This is a For the Boys movie.
Yeah, this is a kaiju movie.
This is Expendables. This is... that's what this shit's gonna be.
I'm not looking for, like, a love sequence here. I'm like, no, dude, I want to see Wolverine be covered in mud with a wolf pack, and suddenly he's like, what's hunting my wolves? And then all of a sudden he just fucks up... I bet he fucks up one of the Predators, and they're like, oh, we're gonna get this motherfucker.
Right.
Like...
Probably.
Yeah. Because if they do it right, I bet you every episode's gonna be like their encounter through.
Is it a series or a movie?
It's a 4... You didn't listen to me.
I told you he wasn't listening.
It is a 4-issued limited series, so it'll be 4 episodes. I'm willing to bet each one will be hour and a half.
Yeah, and I'm betting I'm kind of with that. I bet you each one's gonna be a different, like,
point
era.
in time. Yep.
Yeah. Like, I just want to be like, yo, this motherfucker again. Or, like, you know.
Previously on, in parentheses, 100 years later.
Right. I am You're right, actually. I think I am more excited for that.
When I saw the article and I read it and I saw that it was legit and I went to Marvel, and I don't normally fact check that deep.
Right.
And I was like, I
Thought
saw
that, you were like, yeah, I
saw
to.
Marvel had something released on it. I was like, son of a bitch.
I think they're actually starting to work into, like, the Predator, because I heard there's going to be another Alien movie now.
Yep.
And I heard they're really starting to work with that aspect, so I'm excited. I love the Alien and Predator franchise.
I'm not a huge fan of Alien.
No, like, all together, or just...
I don't know, it's hit or miss for me, because, like, Alien does this thing where it goes back and forth between being horror and being action.
Right.
And I think...
Like, the first one was so apparently just horror.
Yes, like, I definitely think the Xenomorph is a good monster to have in a horror setting. I don't think it's necessarily the best thing to have for an action setting. And, like, the only way that they've been able to do it in that franchise thus far is, like, oh, we have more aliens.
Right.
Like,
I actually get that, like...
Yeah, they just turn it into a numbers thing.
Right. Like, that's why I liked Aliens, because it was a numbers thing, but you also had the jump scares and, like, the kind of, like... The sense that you're being hunted.
Yes. Yeah, if you lose that, you kind of lose the only thing the
Right.
Xenomorph is good at.
Yep. Yeah, then they're just a normal fucking grunt.
Yeah, then they're
Right.
just a dime a dozen
Because
Cracker
they're
Barrel
not,
monster.
they're not hard to kill.
No.
Once you're toe-to-toe on it, they're not...
Once you know, like, what to expect from it.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
Relatively speaking, they're not hard to kill.
Yeah.
Right.
No. Well, and that's the other thing, too. And, like, what was that? I think it was Aliens when they had the Space Marines. It's like, yeah, you can just light those things up, like, no problem.
Yeah, their issue is they're running out of ammo. 'Cause
Yeah.
They killed so many of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where the problem fucking comes in.
Right, then once you're out of ammo, you're kind of like, okay, well, now they can manage here.
Yeah.
I also think the part that's scary, though, is if they do get the jump on you, it's not like you can blow them with a shotgun or something, because then it's like, acid! Like,
Yeah,
Right.
their acid blood makes them very hard to deal with in
Yeah.
melee.
Yep.
I also love the fact, too, now you saw this in, I think it was AVP, the first one. Remember that one that had the cuts on his head?
Mm-hmm.
And it was smart enough to, like, fuck up its tail, and then use that to melt the metal, and then it was using it as a weapon?
Yep.
I always love the fact, because I read up in this, apparently they'll have little rogue ones that, like, just through evolution, just are better than the other ones.
Of aliens or predators?
Yeah, of aliens.
Of aliens.
Like, they're just naturally, like, smarter or more whatever.
Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Prometheus an origin story for the Xenomorphs?
Yes.
Okay.
Prometheus and Alien Covenant.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you find out what originally they were, which, it's been a while since I watched it, but, you find originally they were like a biological weapon kind of thing, and then it was kind of used to, like, I don't know how to put it. Like, it mutates people into things to become weapons, but then that android mutated it to make his perfect creature, and that's where he came up, and that's where the kind of the xenomorph, they're like a genetic accident kind of thing.
Got you. Yo, you spilled my bioweapon into my mutation.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's how I remember it. I could be wrong.
It's like Professor X making the Powerpuff
Yeah,
Girls.
exactly.
So I have one more Hollywood bit that I want to touch on here with you guys as well. So Venom 3 is confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for that. I don't want them to do what they did with Carnage and make it too
goofy.
They
Too
flip.
goofy.
They flip too hard.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm sorry. When you have an enemy like Carnage,
I want
I don't
dark.
want humor.
So we have another unconfirmed plot. This is coming from Looper.com, and Looper's usually pretty good about their shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're pretty accurate about
So
stuff.
this is whoever wrote the article. This is their opinion. Okay, it says, and I'm just gonna read it straight from the bit from Looper. He said that Let There Be Carnage did set up a little teaser of terror to come. Near the end of the second film, we witnessed something strange happen to Detective Patrick Mulligan. After being kidnapped by Cletus Cassidy and almost getting murdered by Shriek, his eyes turn an eerie shade of blue, and we heard him whisper the word monsters.
Monsters.
So what does that mean exactly? It seems very possible that Let There Be Carnage was setting up to the introduction of Toxin.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting is I did a little bit more digging, and there is some bits with Toxin. The Toxin is actually inherently good, and feeds off of the idea, or helps to fuel the already present like ethics or morals or whatever of its host. There is a theory though that Shriek may have unlocked something more evil inside of Mulligan that then Toxin is going to amplify and potentially make Toxin then the bad
Symbiotes
guy.
are always kind of interesting because, like, that comes back to, like, what kind of canon are you going for,
Right.
you know?
Well, the really interesting thing then is, because we've got two extremely different ways that we could go. On the one hand, if that article is correct, Toxin's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay. If that article is incorrect and Toxin actually becomes an ally, then who the fuck's the bad guy?
Right. Well, that's the other thing. I hope they introduce Null. That would be freaking...
Null's way too big. I think Null's way too big to drop into a sub-franchise.
No, but I want the introduction of Null. I don't think that's going to be the enemy.
If they could
drop Null in like a post-credits
like what they
scene.
did with Thanos.
Yeah, they could drop Null into a post-credits scene like that and then build like the
here's-
Avengers up to it.
Here's my problem with that. Sony owns the Venom series. You would need, and Spider-Man's always been the Spider-Verse has always been a back and forth thing between Sony and Marvel. You would need to get Sony to either give shit to Marvel, or Sony would need to learn how to make a fucking movie. If you were going to do something to that fucking scale with Null, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, Null's worse than Thanos, worse than fucking Gore. Like
one of them, I remember the entire planet of symbiotes he controlled, they all realized once his control was over, they all made themselves into a living planet to contain him.
right, just contain, not
Just to
kill.
not kill, just to contain him.
Right.
Because they're like, the things we've done across the universe are unspeakable, and it was like their retribution was to capture and hold him.
Right.
I mean,
Could you imagine spending your entire lifetime is just to contain one thing?
Oh yeah, that's the thing. That's like the whole essence of symbiotes. That's where they went.
Yep.
But the thing that's really fucked up about it is like, didn't the God Butcher, Gore, I can't say Gore. His sword is Null's sword.
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're already starting to introduce aspects of him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the only time it was mentioned.
Well,
yeah. Well, no, there was so
this might be a drop in the bucket because I think they're gonna wrap up this whole Kang the Conqueror thing with Phase 5 of Marvel, and then they might steer into Null.
I feel like they're just dropping hints at him. I think it's going to be like a Thanos thing. There's going to be like 8 movies leading up to it, and then it's going to be something like that.
I mean, again, though, they've got
this guy takes out like Ego and freaking...
Ego was the worst villain possible that they put on screen. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. But like, no, that's his level. Like,
right.
Well, and that's the other thing too, though, is Disney did Ego kind of dirty. I feel like Ego's a fucking problem. Like
100%.
Like they really played Ego down kind of for laughs. I think in Guardians,
but that's just it. I don't think it's a Disney thing. I genuinely think that's a Marvel thing, trying to like keep things quote unquote family friendly.
Right.
Because they did that with Ego. They did that with Gore. They did that to Thor's entire franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd you go from like Thor and Dark World to all of a sudden Ragnarok and Love and Thunder?
If shit's supposed to be dark, make it fucking dark.
Right.
And if you don't want something dark, don't pick a dark villain.
Like, see, okay, here's my thing. That's why I like Thor Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
It was set up to be lighthearted. It wasn't they took a dark villain and decided to make him lighthearted.
Correct.
So I think they have to do it properly. In my opinion, not everything. Sometimes you just want to go see a fun little action movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Ragnarok was great for that. It had a cute little balance between everything.
Right, like it was a little serious, but it was like lighthearted at the same time.
Yep.
God of Thunder!
Wow, I didn't hear any thunder, but out of your fingers, was that like sparkles?
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too is like Ego. Back to the whole Ego thing is like Ego should have been way harder to deal with than he was.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Like he's a goddamn fucking. He was
a living planet.
He's a celestial.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be able to just fucking take him out like some chump.
Right.
Like-
Well, actually, you want something interesting too? Back to the Null thing. They first introduced him actually in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. You know that head? Nowhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a celestial head. Guess who cut it off?
Shut
No.
the fuck up.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've been playing at this. They've been mentioning him. He's like one of those unsaid things.
Can we address the scale of that for a second? Right? You've got an entire like planet that is made from a celestial's fucking head,
Pretty much.
and there was something big enough to cut it off.
Yeah.
Or powerful enough.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, man. Look at the size of the Celestials. They're
Yeah.
birthed from planets.
Because isn't Null just like the size of like a dude?
Yeah. I think it's one of those that can be whatever size.
Oh,
the person
he's
wants.
Which is even more terrifying,
Yeah.
because then the thing that pops in my head is you start talking about, like, Destiny, right? The video game. And you think of a warlock just casting something and it's just this fucking blade of
I always-
magic. Off with your head!
That's the thing. I always get confused with that shit because I'm always like sitting here like, okay, large scale, small scale. Like, does that mean Thor would have a chance if he just decided to go up to
Just-
like, you know,
crack him hard
dude's
enough.
the size of a planet, and then there's Thor. That'd be like me being like, I'm gonna punch a whale and see what's up.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I could see that, and I mean, I think when you start getting into those realms of Marvel, like, you know, eventually you'll get up to that area of, like, the one above all and all that shit, but, like, when you start getting into, like, celestial entities or, like, even godlike beings, it's like, listen, I look like this because it's easy for you to fucking handle.
Well,
Well, and I like,
Back to
that's-
Love and Thunder, though.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta think about that. Like, Celestials were outside, but they're still in the ball game of, like, Zeus and all that.
Yeah.
But it's like, then you would think as a studio, it's your job then to be like, is this too much to chew?
Right.
Either too much for us to chew off as a studio, or too much for the viewer that doesn't know comics to like really handle. Because if you can't do it justice, if you have to really dumb it down for someone like me that doesn't really know the comics, well then it's like you're not doing the character justice then.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah. You know who they need to bring back in, like, actual earnest and do a good job with? Galactus.
Yes, I agree.
He's not an angry cloud.
No.
Calling you out, Fantastic Four.
Who
It's just an
Silver
angry-
Surfer.
no
He's another fucking
I think-
cosmic level badass, too.
They
Silver Surfer?
seriously undersold him.
Yeah.
How
Oof.
much, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Silver Surfer's a straight fucking G. I think, hasn't Silver Surfer rocked Thanos' shit a few times?
Yeah.
who was in, and I haven't seen it yet, but in Quantum Mania, who was the bad guy? The dude with the big face.
I haven't seen it yet either.
MODOK?
MODOK.
Yeah.
Like, he looked weird. I didn't, and again, I haven't seen it, but you know what looking at him and the budget that fucking Marvel has and everything, you know what he reminded me of? Fucking George Lopez's bad guy version from Spy Kids. And I'm sorry,
Mr.
but like,
Electro?
Mr. Electro, you have the same quality of production too, and it's like
Right.
you're Marvel for fuck's sake.
And, not to be that guy, but I'm actually... That was Shark Boy and Lava Girl, not Spy Kids.
Oh, my bad. Same franchise. Same world. Fuck you. Taylor Lautner.
I have no idea, but okay.
I have kids.
Yeah, that's fair.
Lexi loves Shark Boy and Lava
It's
Girl.
not even about you having kids. That came out when we were kids.
I know.
Yeah, it's actually been out for a while.
That's been a fat minute. I don't know. The whole thing was just really interesting. So on those points, oof, I'm sorry, that was loud.
Yeah, Russell, your paper's a little louder.
No, my voice on that one. On those points that I brought up though, any other follow up, anything else? I mean, we got Dead. I will smack the living shit out of you. Any other follow ups? Deadpool, Wolverine versus Predator.
New Spider-Man game.
There's a new Spider-Man game.
I'm not excited about it.
You're
Yeah,
not?
the Spider-Man movie.
The Spider-Man games don't do it for me.
Really?
They're fun, but Spider-Man's never been my guy. He's fun to watch. I don't mind him. He's never been my guy though.
Really?
Dude, to me, it was just I love just swinging around.
Oh,
dude.
Yeah, I love the games. They're great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to them bringing in Venom.
I think here's my hardest part with it, right? Is because I think the same studio, or at least similar developers that did the Spider-Man games, also made the Arkhamverse. So the combat and a lot of the travel is exactly the same as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm playing this thing where I feel like I'm playing Batman, which you guys know I'm diehard Batman all the way.
Mechanically, you're playing Batman.
Mechanically, I'm playing Batman, but I'm getting the quips out of a teenager, and I'm just like, this hurts my brain to be doing this, because I did play Miles Morales for a little while, and I was like, this is actually kind of fun. I'm getting into it, yada yada. And then there was a couple of fights, like bigger fights, where I was like, this is Batman.
Dude, that's
It's
the thing.
Batman.
It's that. It's the whole. It's the mechanic style.
Yeah.
It's just.
If they changed it, and if it,
They got a
and,
Deadpool game like it too.
Right.
Same fighting style. It's just.
and it's like if I didn't know Batman and the mechanics of that, I'd probably love Spider-Man.
Yeah. I like the games. They're
No, I know where you like. I like just swinging around. It was just kind of like
The scale of the world is amazing.
right. Like that's actually what sold me on it. Is I love just sitting back and just like swinging through town. Just
Yep.
honestly, dude. Like sometimes before we have a D&D session, I'll play Spider-Man and I'll just walk around New York City, or I'll go to like landmark tokens.
dude, yeah, like it's actually really fun though because like I found Doctor Strange's place. And
Yeah,
stuff like
Bleecker
that,
Street.
And,
Yeah.
I was walking around one time and there was an assassination attempt on me.
I mean,
Yeah, if you walk around on the street.
you guys are setting this up really well for me. So next episode, I've actually got some video game shit to drop.
Dude, fuck yeah.
So we're gonna do a couple of reacts. We're gonna give some opinions. Depending on how big into those opinions go, we might have to do 2 episodes on video games.
I'm always for it.
Spider-Man
does whatever a spider can.
Da-da-da-da. This
Copyright
is
issues.
copyright.
We gotta stop. Look, we gotta stop.
Steven's like, that's a strike, that's a strike, that's a strike. We gotta cut.
Let me see. I think we only got 4 seconds of the song, so I think we're fine.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Copyright laws
You
are
guys
weird.
said 2 more words. We're lying.
One more syllable and we're fucked, guys. With that being said, guys, thank you so much as always for tuning into our absolute madness. We appreciate it, and we can't wait to share more madness with you next time. Until then, Chris, what are they doing?
Share the show.
Spence.
Sharing the show.
Until next time, guys. Peace.
Out.